Back at it here. We're going to be reviewing for the final exam, and we're going to be talking about equations, which again is a topic that comes up in 7th grade as well. So it's good that we're taking a look at it now, not just for the final, but also for 7th grade. All right. So when doing equations, it's important that we solve and check. So what we're going to do before we do these, we're just going to do a little thing right here, just for the solve and check. Also could just do a solid line. I don't know why I'm doing a dotted line, but I guess I am. All right. So to solve these, it's important that the first thing we do is rewrite them. So this one is 3 12/100 equals x plus 2 54/100. So to solve this, first thing we're going to do is do the wall. I'm going to separate the two sides so we can see them a little easier. Our goal is to get the variable by itself. So we're going to do the opposite of plus 2 54/100. So we're going to subtract 2 54/100. Now, when we subtract on both sides, we're going to make sure, because we're subtracting a decimal, that we line up the decimal points. No need to annex any zeros there. So these numbers cancel out. We're left with x is equal to, we're going to do some regrouping here. So 12 minus 4 is 8. And then this is kind of like 30 minus 25, but if you want to regroup that as well. 10 minus 5 is 5. Bring down the decimal point. 2 minus 2 is 0. So our answer is 58/100 is equal to x. So next we're going to check it. This is our check. The first step in the check is to rewrite it. 2 54/100. Second step is to substitute the 58/100, which is what we had for x, substitute that in, and then add 2 54/100. Now, 50/100 plus 2 54/100 is 3 4/100, plus that extra little 8/100 would be 3 12/100. So notice I thought about whether the answer made sense before going to the last part of the check, which would be to say that both sides are equal to 3 12/100, and that's a check. All right, let's try the one next to it here. We have x minus 4 21/100 equals 9 45/100. All right, let's solve it. So we're going to do the wall. We have to get rid of whatever's hanging around the variable, which is minus 4 21/100. So we're going to add 4 21/100 to both sides. Making sure to line up the decimal point as best we can. The 4 21/100 cancel out. We're left with x equals, and then we'll add it here. 5 plus 1 is 6. 4 plus 2 is also 6. Decimal point, 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 66/100. So let's check it out to make sure that that is the right answer. X minus 4 21/100 equals 9 45/100. We have 13 66/100 minus 4 21/100 equals 9 45/100. Well, let's think about that for a second. What's 13 minus 4? That's 9. 66/100 minus 21/100. 66 minus 21 is 45. So that would make sense that would be 9 45/100. Again, you'll have a calculator too. You can check that on a calculator. There you go. All right, this one's a little different. This is not adding or subtracting. So we have 4 times x equals 60. Same type of procedure, though. We're going to do a wall. How do we get rid of times x? We're going to divide by x using a fraction on both sides. These 4s will cancel out, and we get x equals, 60 divided by 4. 4 goes into 40 10 times. You got 20 more. 4 goes into 25 times. 10 plus 5 is 15. So we got 15, yes. Which makes sense because if you divide 60 minutes by 4, a quarter of an hour is 15 minutes, so that would make sense. So now to check it, we have 4 times x equals 60. Well, x is 15, so it'd be 4 times 15 equals 60. Now, 4 times 10 is 40, 4 times 5 is 20, 40 plus 20 would be 60, so that checks out there. Now, this is a division sign. It's not. It looks kind of like an addition sign, but there's a couple ways we can write that. The way we saw division the most with an equation was like x divided by 6 like a fraction equals 12. So we can rewrite it like that. So now at this point, we can do the wall. How do we get rid of divide by 6? Well, we're going to multiply by 6 on both sides. The 6's will cancel out. And we're left with x equals, well, it's 12 times 6. 10 times 6 is 60. 2 times 6 is 12. 60 plus 12 would be 72. All right. Let's check this out. So we got x divided by 6 equals 12. We think our solution is 72 divided by 6 equals 12. Now, again, you can use a calculator, but if you wanted to really be sure, 6 goes into 1, or 6 goes into 7 once. 1 times 6 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring down the 2. 6 goes into 12 twice. And that checks out. So that means both sides equal 12. 12 equals 12. And that is also a check. So those are kind of the basics of equations. Next, we're going to write some equations and solve and check them. So this next part is a little trickier, but we're using the same skills here. All right. First one, Tino went to Tops to purchase some produce. He selected 4 lemons for a total of $1.24. For $1.24. Write and solve an equation to find the price of each lemon. All right, so what we're going to do is this is going to be a multiplication equation because we want to find the cost of each lemon. 4 times the cost of each lemon equals $1.24. We used to write these shortcuts a lot, but a multiplication equation is a variable times a number, that's number sign, equals the total. And that's how we're going to do this. So we're going to let x equal price of each lemon, or price per lemon. All right, let's go ahead and write this out and solve and check it. Here we go. That's an x, by the way. I'll go over that. That's an x. So we have x times 4. Cost of each lemon times 4 is the total, $1.24. And to solve this, just like the ones above, we're going to put the wall. How do we get rid of times 4? Well, we divide by 4 on both sides. 4's cancel out, and we get x equals, 120 divided by 4 is 30. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so this should be 31. Again, you'll be able to use your calculator there, but there it is, 31 cents per lemon. Not a bad deal. And so then to check that, I'll do the check in black here. We have x times 4 equals $1.24. First, you write it. Instead of x, though, we're going to put 31 cents times 4 equals $1.24. 30 times 4 is $1.20, plus another 4 cents would be $1.24. Notice I thought about it before I did it. It is, in fact, $1.24. And that checks out. All right, let's try the one next to it. It says a model airplane was flying at 120 feet. It then ascended or went up to 325 feet. So we're actually going to write and solve an addition equation. Now, in 6th grade, addition equations look like this. You have a variable, we'll call it x, plus a number equals the total. So sort of similar to multiplication, but instead of multiplying, we're adding. But it's a variable plus a number equals the total. So we need a let statement. We're going to let, I don't know, x equal number of feet plane ascended, which means how much it rose in the air. All right, to write this equation, we have our variable. Whoop. I'm just going to pause for a moment as we dismiss, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back after dismissal. Here we go. Addition. We're writing an addition equation, and this is what an addition equation looks like in 6th grade. There it is. Our variable plus a number equals the total. So our variable is x. So we're going to do x plus, well, what's our number? What's our total? Our total is 325. The number is 120. The total is 325. And now we're going to go ahead and solve it. So we're going to put the wall. And then to get rid of the plus 120, we're going to subtract 120 from both sides to do the opposite, the inverse. Here we go. All right, well, the 120s are going to cancel out. We get x equals 5 minus 0 is 5, 2 minus 2 is 0, 3 minus 1 is, should be a 0, is 2. So apparently the plane ascended or went up 205 feet. All right, to check that, let's check it out over here. We'll rewrite the equation. X plus 120 equals 325. Whoops, 325. 205 plus 120 equals 325. 200 plus 120 is 320, so 205 plus 120 would be 325. But notice I thought about it. I just didn't write it without thinking. I thought if it was true, and it is. Check. All right, a couple more here. We got a hot air balloon is flying 5 times higher than the height of the Empire State Building. The height of the Empire State Building is 1,454 feet. So we don't know the height of the hot air balloon, but it's 5 times above the height of the Empire State Building. So if we take the height of the hot air balloon and divide it by 5, we should get Empire State Building. So in 6th grade, the division equation is a variable divided by a number equals another number. So we have 2 numbers here. We have 5 and we have 1454. So that might help us. We need to know our let statement first. So let x equal height. What we're trying to find is the height of balloon. Height of balloon. So that's going to be x divided by, I'm going to say divided by 5 equals 1,454. So the hot air balloon is a lot higher than the Empire State Building. So our answer should be, quite a bit higher than 1,454 feet. All right, let's put the wall. How are we going to get rid of that divide by 5? We're going to multiply by 5, and we're going to do that on both sides. Times 5 on this side and times 5 on that side. The 5s will cancel out, and the x is equal to. Now, you can do this on a calculator, but to do it in your head, this is what you do. You do 5 times 1,000, which is 5,000. 5 times 400 is 2,000. So far that's 7,000. 5 times 50 is 250, 7,250. And then 5 times 4 is 20. So it'd be 7,270 would be our answer. All right, let's check it. So we're going to check this thing out. We're going to write the equation. X divided by 5 equals 1,454. 7,270 is what we got. Divided by 5 equals 1,454. And you know what? This is a great time to use a calculator. This is just a shout out to the calculator that could be coming handy right here. But notice I've showed all the other work. So at the end, we'll just divide this by 5, and that checks out 1,454. But I just didn't assume that was right. I checked on the calculator to make sure it was actually the case. All right, nice. Now you might be thinking that the last one is subtraction, but let's see what it says. It says Abraham Lincoln is 72 inches tall. This is 8 times the height of his hat. I don't think this is subtraction. Write and solve an equation to find the height of his hat. So what this is a multiplication equation. And the reason I could tell is this. The height of the hat is less than Abraham Lincoln. So we're going to have to take the height of the hat, multiply it by 8 to get that 72. So this is going to be a multiplication equation. And we actually already wrote the tip for multiplication up here. A variable times a number equals the total. So let's get a variable first. We're going to use maybe x. I don't know. We could use x equals height of hat. Height of hat. Okay, so it's going to be x times 8, which is how many times greater Abe Lincoln is than the hat, equals 72. Okay, let's solve it. So we're going to do the wall. How do we get rid of times 8? We're going to divide by 8. We're going to divide by 8. The 8's cancel out. 8 goes into 72, I believe, 9 times. Okay. 9 inches. 9-inch hat. That's a tall hat, which is what he was known for. So to check it, we're going to rewrite it. X times 8 equals 72. X in this case is 9. 9 times 8 is 72. What is 9 times 8? 9 times 8 is 72. 72 equals 72, and that is a check. Okay, now notice there are 2 of them that are a multiplication. That might be a hint there. 2 of them are multiplication equations. We are preparing for the final exam. That may be a hint. If you have any questions about equations, let me know. If not, have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.